Ryan Trahan just posted his I survived on 1 pound for 1 week video. This is day 1 of his series, and as of filming this video, he has 2.3 million views and is #1 on trending. So it's something that we have to talk about. He has 7 days to get back to America, and he's starting out in Paris. And he really gets right into it in the whole shebang. He spends no time on the 1 penny in the previous series. I feel like he spent a little bit of time like, how am I going to turn this penny into it? No, he goes right into, okay, I have a penny. I'm going to trade that for a pen. I'm going to sell that pen for a pound, and then that pound is going to get me water to make more money. And just like he gets right into it in the video, we're going to get right into it. But watch to the end to see some of my favorite comments that I found, and especially some stuff on Twitter that will maybe give us an idea of where this is going in the future. But he starts out with his classic water bottle technique, which obviously is an iconic part of this series. And I really don't know if there's many times that he's been able, or if he's ever been able to start without the pen to a water bottle technique. This is a question as I was watching it. Is Paris the best place that he's ever tried to do his water bottle technique? And I was thinking, I mean, it's got to be one of the best. I don't know what the temperature's like in Paris usually, but if it's at all hot where you would want some water, it's probably going to do all right. But then I remembered last year he started out in LA and he was selling water around the beach. And I mean, I don't know. I know LA is not known for being super hot, obviously, but an LA beach is incredible. And I just imagine everybody's going to want water. So that's probably best, but this is easily second in my opinion. Also, as he's doing all these challenges, I can't help but think Ryan Trahan is such a big name now. He's got 12 million followers, and I can't help but think that a good chunk of the people, a lot of the people that he helped today, they know him. That a lot of the reason he was getting his success was because they knew him, which is something to consider in my opinion. One thing that I'm curious on though is how long it took him to do the things that he did. I know it paced it some, but like for example, he started selling the water for €1 instead of 2 because it was supposedly faster, but it didn't really tell how much faster or anything like that. So I was curious on that. When when the water was €1, how much faster, how much easier was it able to do that? I don't really think there's ever going to be an answer to that, but it is an interesting kind of thought. He says while he's selling the water bottles that the people in Europe aren't rude and that they're nice. But in my opinion, as I'm watching this show, it really feels like I'm seeing most of the people were American. And maybe that's just me pushing my own American bias over there. But I just feel like, I mean, there were several times he got dollar bills and it just, one kid was from Massachusetts and that kind of thing. You know, he ends up selling all 6 water bottles, and then he tells us the game plan, which is always a fun time. He can't fly out of Paris because it's very expensive. It was gonna be like 800 pounds, which is, I mean, after today, not unbelievably impossible, but I don't really know where the end goal would be. I do have an idea of where he's going next, which we'll talk about later, but the end goal to make it cheaper to get to America, I'm not really sure. You would think the sweet spot would be somewhere that isn't as touristy as Paris, but it's just touristy enough to want to be discounted to get to and from America. So that's kind of what I was thinking, because, Paris is so popular. I'm sure that they run up the price, but I don't know much about traveling. I've never been to Europe, so what do I know? He tells us his goals for the charity, and he's donating all of this for water.org, which is really awesome. And he wants to raise $100,000. And I looked, and as of filming this video podcast, he has raised over $325,000. So he has blown away his goals. And I mean, at this pace, there's no way he doesn't get to 1 million, right? If he doesn't get to 1 million, I know you can't just go out and set the $1 million goal, but I mean, we're at a breakneck pace for sure. The Great Reset is also one of the coolest and funniest and entertaining mechanics in a thing like this. It's super exciting, and whenever someone donates 50K, it completely wipes out the money and adds stake to this show, this channel, this whole series, which is really, really fun. And so I'm sitting here thinking, how many times will this happen in a 7-day series? So I'm gonna make my go-ahead prediction for the whole series is that there's gonna be 2 resets, and I do think that's a little bit of a stretch. One will for sure happen. It's just bound to happen. But 2 would be a little bit of a stretch. I could see it maybe 1 actually happens and goes through, and 1 happens but gets stopped by the new mechanic that stops the Great Reset. It protects him from it. But it will be interesting to see. I really hope that something like that happens, because it always makes the series better. And I'm sure he wants to get reset. Let's be honest. He's thinking about what makes the best content for him too. He also says that if you follow him on Instagram, he will donate a penny to the charity. And I want to say that this channel, if you're watching this, is absolutely brand new. And so if you are one of the first few subscribers on this channel between now and the time Ryan ends this series, I will donate a penny to this charity. So hopefully we can rack this up and make it a significant donation, but we'll see. I mean, I'm really interested to see what the feedback is on these kind of videos. I think they're going to be super fun to make. My idea is that I love talking about my favorite YouTube videos, and I want this to be the perfect place to do that. So comment all your thoughts and discussions, and we can make this into something really awesome. I'm convinced of that. Now we get into his second technique of making money, and he's gotten enough to buy a pad and pen, and so he's able to do his caricature drawing. So the idea is he's got a minute to draw people, and they can donate if they want to, but it's free otherwise, which is really good because it makes it feel like he's not begging. And I hate watching videos where you're like, give me money, and that's why this works well. Obviously, he goes to the store to buy stuff, and one thing that blew me away was that there's no sales tax in Europe, I guess, and so the listing on the store is just what it costs. That makes so much sense, and I don't know why it wouldn't be the case in America or anywhere else that has sales tax. I also am just so amazed by how, I mean, can I say incredible Ryan is at drawing people in a minute? If I were to try and do this, I would probably have to pay them money, because I would have wasted a minute of their time, and I would have to give them $1 to make them feel good about what just happened, because it would not be a picture worth taking with them, and it would not be a picture worth a minute of sitting with. But hey, he did it and had some crazy success with it. So here's the other thing. Every single time I see a kid on this show, a kid interacting with him, a kid giving him money, I'm immediately like, oh, they know Ryan from YouTube 100%. And especially if that kid is from America, which I know he can't really lean into and explain because it would probably ruin the fun of the series. But I mean, you got to think that that's a pretty big aspect of why this works, right? I do wonder how many people in this that gave him money, like what's the percentage of people who knew him that gave him money and the people that didn't. But some of the reactions that we saw was really awesome. One girl said that she looked like a mammal, which was a crazy, I don't know how your brain goes there. And then the Mickey Mouse that showed up while he's drawing, like right next to him, and the music that he put genuinely scared me and was so sketchy. It gave me the vibe of like the Grimace milkshake thing that's going on. And if I saw Mickey at the Eiffel Tower, I would run, especially that creepy looking one. But we saw a bunch of the montages of the art and the reactions, and I really appreciated that because it wasn't too long and it was a lot of fun. But I do wonder the logistics of the cameraman as they're doing this, because sometimes as he's going around drawing, the cameraman's following him around, but then later when he's counting his money, he's got the camera set on the ground. So I'm curious, where is the cameraman just off to the side, or is he off working? Or I don't really know how that works. Maybe Ryan's like, okay, unless I absolutely need you, this needs to just be me. And if that's the case, I mean, I really respect that. That's kind of cool. But he exchanges all of his currency, and he's raised 40 pounds so far just from drawing, which is really honestly incredible. Then he goes to McDonald's in Paris, which is really cool because obviously McDonald's is a big part of his brand, and he can kind of see the cool food that McDonald's has in other parts of the country. He's got the ice cream in a tube, which looks like, to me, a worse version of a push pop, but I would assume it's less messy, so maybe that's why they do that. But absolutely, the push pop is king, and I can't imagine an ice cream in a tube is as tasty as the good old push pop. And then you have potato wedges in that, and that's just mid. I can't imagine you enjoying potato wedges over the regular McDonald's fries, but hey, what do I know? I don't know anything about eating. Then the Big Tasty sauce looked kind of like ranch or mayonnaise. I don't know. Europeans calling something as simple as mayonnaise and ranch Big Tasty, I feel like would be very on brand, but what do I know? So he made enough money to buy a bus ticket that is overnight, and that does fix his problem of where is he supposed to sleep. And I thought that was clever because I don't know the logistics of Paris, but it doesn't seem like the kind of place that you could just buy a hammock and sleep under the stars. It feels like if that was an opportunity, a lot of people would do it, because if I was going to do Paris cheap, maybe that's what I would do, sleep under the stars, sleep with a hammock, blah, blah, blah. I'm thinking, it could be sketchy. Maybe it's just too public, and then maybe it's just too unknown and it's not a danger. But I could see him doing that later. So I don't know. I'll be interested to see if the hammock makes a return in this series. He goes back to drawing portraits at the end of the day, and he makes another 92 more pounds, which is actually so much, it's crazy. Then there's the whole baguette part of this video where he spends a lot of the video dreaming about buying a baguette, which is interesting to me because I don't know for sure, but would a Paris baguette taste any different than an American one or a baguette from anywhere else? I was watching this with my girlfriend and she seemed to think yes, but let me know in the comments. I really just don't think that it would taste any different. It's just bread, but whatever. With all the money that he makes, though, he has about 92 pounds. He's able to buy the flight out of his next location, which is really, he's set for the next couple of days. He can go to stop 2 and get out to stop 3 already, all in the first day, which makes this whole 7 days thing a lot more achievable. And also, stay tuned to the end. Speaking of the next 7 days, stay to the end and I will make my predictions for the next video and we'll kind of see how we think he's going to do. So he ends the day at the bus station with 9.69 pounds of money and the ability to travel to his next 2 places. And, it was a crazy first episode and I'm surprised by how much he did, but I also noticed that a lot of the people in the comments of the video also really excited for the progress that he made, but they were also very upset with that he didn't do a full month series again. And I do get that. That makes, I was the same way. I was like, 7 days, man, the 30 days was better. But here's what I think. I think that, hey, if he wants to one up this next year, maybe that's when we get the 30 days. But who knows? Now we're going to look at some tweets and some things that I saw. So if you don't want to be spoiled for future episodes, this might be where you want to click away. But what I found is where he's going next and some other things that I was not expecting to see when I was going on Twitter. So SFMG says that the website got hacked. And as you can see in the picture, it said that they reached their goal of like $1 trillion and they've made like $41 billion raised and everything. So that's obviously terrible. But I looked and it's back to normal now, which is good. I can't imagine the kind of person that comes in and hacks something for such a good cause, but I guess some people do that. And then the big spoiler of the episode is, where is he going next? That's the cliffhanger as he leaves. And I saw several tweets actually, of him taking selfies around Amsterdam. So that's where he's going. And I kind of have an idea of where he's going next, just off of some tweets I saw from a couple hours ago. But I won't spoil that until he actually is teasing that next location. So Amsterdam seems to be where we're going for next video, which is very exciting. And then I have a Mr. Beast comment that says that he wants to donate 100K to reset him and have a plug. And Ryan's like, no, that's not how it works. You can plug whatever you want, but that doesn't reset me. And Mr. Beast is going to be plugging Feastables a lot, it looks like. And then the last thing that I saw on Twitter, which was really exciting and kind of funny, was that this guy Hunter Exotic says that he made a bingo board for the penny challenge. And I don't know, maybe we need to play that for next episode for this channel, because that is a lot of fun. That is a great idea. So that's kind of what Twitter and what the comments were saying. They basically wanted it to be longer. They love what he's doing. And then, the social media people are like, oh, take my money, basically. But that's really cool. And now we need to get to the predictions for day 2 of the series. So we already know he's in Amsterdam, and we already know he has transportation to his next location. To me, the big thing is, what is his goal for the next day? He's already got his transportation. So what are we doing tomorrow? So I'm thinking we're going to get some classic Ryan Trahan penny series fun stuff. And what is more fun than a fun drink? I think that's 100% going to happen in the next video. And if it doesn't, I will be shocked. And then I think we could find a Chipotle alternative. Maybe they don't have Chipotle in Europe, which I guess wouldn't be surprising. And if they had Tex-Mex at all, I would be surprising. So what is that new Chipotle that he finds for this series? I would really like that. Maybe it's some kind of European standard that we don't have in America, that he ends up liking or hating. I don't know, but I think that would be fun. And then I also think that he's got to tomorrow buy some kind of fancy non-American meal from McDonald's that he's never had and kind of taste test it, because that was a fun part of today. And obviously McDonald's is a big part of his brand. So the objective for preparing himself tomorrow should be to future-proof himself. So he needs to find some kind of temporary sleeping situation like the hammock that he can take with him. And I also think that hygiene should be number one priority, just like your number one priority should be subscribing to this brand new channel. Because remember, I will donate 1 penny to ryanswater.org fundraiser for every new follower I get during this series. I'll see you tomorrow for the next video recap.